morning. Welcome to the Friday show. We're going to talk about the 5 things you can do, the 5 biggest mistakes you can make when raising a puppy. So I've compiled based on breeding for 12 years and lots of feedback from clients and raising puppies ourselves, the 5 biggest mistakes you can make when raising a puppy. So we're going to go through those. Good morning, Heather. Let me know you guys are here. Last week it was a rerun, so I didn't get to see, well, not that I get to see you anyway, but I don't get to communicate with you live. So we were just been crazy busy. If you've been watching lots of Healing Heart giveaways, I'll be pushing out the story of Texas soon. I apologize, we lost our live right when he was walking up too. Like we spot him in the crowd and we go to ambush him and we lost our live feed. So freaking fantastic timing on that, but we were recording anyway, so we have the video. I just have to put it together. So I'll be doing that too, and we'll be pushing that out. Good morning everybody. Good morning, Susan. Let me get my little buttons going here. Good morning, Dana. Good morning, Joanne and Tessa, Letitia. Good morning, you guys. Good morning. Hashtag Team Jeanette. That's right. Hashtag Team Jeanette. All right. Super important though. The 5 biggest mistakes when raising a puppy. So let's go through those now. If you guys can think of any, start putting them out there. What do you think are the biggest mistakes people make? Most of you've raised puppies. This is not your first rodeo. Based on what you read and what you see and meeting other people's puppies, like, we're not going to judge here. We're just gonna list the facts on what mistakes, the biggest mistakes people make when raising a puppy. Good one, Dana. We're going to talk about that. Not crate training. Letting the puppy be in charge. Keep listing them. Here we go. Number 1. I got to move over here, I think. I got my little slide. Woo, check me out. I just got to move. I feel way over here. All right, number 1, not choosing a puppy that has been temperament tested, understanding their needs and giving them a voice in their placement. It's not only fair to them, but to you too. So if you choose, once you choose a breeder, a litter, a breed, whatever first, you should always choose breed first based on what you need and what you want. And then please make sure that the rescue group, that the shelter, that the breeder is doing puppy evaluations. This is not just a breeder problem. This is a dog problem we have when we are not giving our dogs a voice in their placement. And so making sure that you're choosing the right puppy that fits your lifestyle, that you know you can meet their needs, is the number 1 most important thing. Choosing the breed, then the breeder, or how you're going to access your dog or buy your dog or whatever. And then really making sure their puppies have a voice in their placement. Are we honoring them? Do you have the time and energy for a high energy, drivey dog? Do you have the time and energy to build confidence in a dog that's lacking in confidence? So really making sure that some of those really, really important traits are evaluated correctly. There's a lot of breeders doing evaluations and they're not correct either. And I've been working really hard over the last couple of years to train breeders. I offer an evaluation course. It's 5 classes. It's like 10 hours. And that's just starting to get these breeders trained on how to truly evaluate a puppy. The thing is, there's no school to go to. Evaluating an 8-week-old puppy is very different than evaluating a mature dog, and there's not been a lot of information about that. So number 1, biggest mistake before you even get started is not choosing the right puppy for you. And there's, like I said, there's some traits that they will not change. They're stable traits. Energy is one of them. Assertiveness is another one. Those are the 2 most common reasons why dogs are in the shelters. They're high energy and they are assertive. The third one is fear. So, and those are traits we can see. Fear and confidence, really, we have a big hand in that based on the parents we choose, how we raise our puppies, and then how you guys do. The first 16 weeks is the most crucial. After 16 weeks, it's remedial training. So, which is just really, really fascinating. And it shows us really how much we really do have a hand in making sure that we're raising the best possible puppies. You do too, so do the breeders. So don't discount the role you play as well. All right, so temperament testing number 1. I'm seeing a lot of good comments here. All right, ready for number 2? Check out my slides. Look how fancy I am today. Boom. All right, number 2, wishy-washy rules and words. People in the same family are using different words off and down. For example, you're misusing those. One minute the dog jumps on you and you say down, and the next minute you're trying to get him to go into a long down. You're confusing as all heck. Remember, dogs don't know English, and so you've got to choose as a family before a puppy comes into your home. What are you going to name? What are you going to name the kennel? What are you going to name, whatever you're going to ask the puppy to do? What is going to be that name or sound associated with that? And everybody needs to be on the same page. That's what I do love about Baxter and Bella. If you haven't raised a puppy in a long time, go check them out. They help you go through all this. You print out their papers, prepare to bring the puppy home, and they'll help you with, hey, we got to make sure we got consistent rules, that we're all using the same words. Husband can't allow the puppy on the couch and then wife not. That's not fair. The puppy does not understand that you two don't agree. All they know now is this is an unhealthy pack. There's no leader in charge. Nobody knows what the shit is going on, okay? So from a puppy's point of view, that's the way it is. So don't think, oh, husband won't know or wife won't know I'm going to have the puppy on the couch because that fulfills your need. BS. Have the same rules, boundaries, limitations. Be on the same page. That is only fair to the puppy. Puppies will start to understand when there's a break, just like kids do, when there's a break in the leadership, when it's inconsistent, and they will act out as well, or they'll just do their own thing because nobody knows what the heck they're doing anyway, so why would they listen to you, right? So everybody wants a fair, consistent leader. Please be a fair, consistent leader. That means every single time. You can't sometimes let a dog jump on you and then sometimes I'll act so frustrated because they keep jumping on you and you wonder why. Well, because you just allowed it yesterday, and I understand you're tired, you're coming home from work, you don't want to deal with it, but you have to, when you take a puppy home, you have to be ready to be on it 100% of the time, because training will just be so much faster and they'll be more balanced and happier to have such a consistent, fair leader. So be that consistent, fair leader. Remember the rules, the rule of the 3. And I talk about this when we do our virtual visitation before people take their puppy home. I'm like, you have to remember 3 seconds. You have really 3 seconds, and it's a fast 3 seconds if you want to correct a dog or praise a dog. So if you don't catch a dog going potty on the floor, you cannot correct them. All right? So when you go up, like people that rub their nose still in it and then try to scold them, right? So the dog's literally thinking, are you dumb? I know what my pee smells like. Or are you dumb? I know what my poop smells like. So why are you rubbing my nose in it? I know what it is. Do you? You have to catch them doing it within 3 seconds. So the minute they sit, name it, reward it. Sit. Good. Reward. If they go potty, name it, reward it. Immediately. Don't take them outside to potty train and as they're sniffing and you're saying, go potty, go potty. They don't have a clue what you want from them. But what you are training them to do is sniffing means go potty. So in the future, when you're like, go potty, they're like, yes, I am. They're sniffing. Give me a minute. I'm doing what you're telling me to do. I'm smelling. Yes, that's the word you name to the behavior. So for a puppy, you have to wait until they do it, name it, reward it. Immediately. The same thing for correction. If they're doing something you don't want them to do, you have to correct immediately. Better yet, anticipate right before they do it. That is the best way to train a dog. You cannot wait until they're already barking at another dog to correct them. You have to catch it right when they notice the dog and give them a correction and be like, we're not going to bark. It's incredibly powerful and life-changing to catch them before they do it. Before they jump on the couch, right before they go to jump on the couch, if you're watching, when they know, like, hey, I'm going to jump on the couch, and they start to go to get on the couch. It's too late. if they're already on the couch to correct them. Now it's a game. I jump up, you pull me down. I jump up, you pull me. Oh, this is fun. Okay, whatever. Again, inconsistent with, good morning, Sean. Gosh, it's been forever. Inconsistent rules and boundaries and limitations. All right, so again, 3 seconds. 3 seconds to correct, 3 seconds to praise. We just get it wrong. We don't understand. Like, to us, it just makes perfect sense. But to a dog, remember, catch them doing it, name it, reward it. So get them or lure them into a sit, and then name it, reward it when they actually do it. And again, just remember 3 seconds no matter what. If it's been 3 seconds, 1001, 1002, 1003, that's all you have. You cannot correct or reward after that. They're already on to something else. They don't understand what you're upset about or what you want them to do after that. Good morning, honey. All right. What's that? Why? What are you doing? You're hiding off screen. Matt's hiding off screen. Now that he changed his shift, he really could be live with us. But he likes to get up and take his time before he has to go to work.
Although I should do another show.
You should do another show. Why don't you come over and say hi to everybody? People don't know that you're live anymore.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I better get some hashtags.
Say good morning.
Good morning,
Hashtag
everybody.
Team Matt, yeah.
I'm going to go through this and see who's still Team Matted.
You don't even know how to use this
I know,
computer.
I don't.
Go away.
Where's your... Oh,
You're
here.
funny. Yeah, that's it. Mess it all up. Oh my gosh. He's on a modified swing, so he used to have Friday off. That's why we started the Friday shows, because he was off work. Now he works on Fridays, so there's that too. All right, we're talking about big mistakes. We're doing some life-changing stuff here. Big mistakes.
How far are we going back 18, 19 years?
Getting married? Yes. Big mistake. All right. Number 3, we're talking about biggest mistakes in training puppies.
Oh.
Biggest mistake in getting married. All right. Not exposing and socializing. Many of you have already talked about this at all, so you're not doing it all, and or you're doing it incorrectly. I cannot stress this enough. We've had this swing of not doing anything and then doing way too much. Both are detrimental. So I need to get you guys back into a short and fun. You don't have to do a ton, and I get it. We feel really excited. We got a puppy, and we want to do what's right. We've heard so much about expose. So we're taking these young puppies out for 2-3 hours. That is way, way, way too long. Like, you have to just plan special time to take the puppy out. It should be short and fun, one thing at a time. Don't stack so much stress. Otherwise, to them now, getting in the car and going out just means stress, and they're going to start to have then issues in the car. They're going to have issues out in public. They're going to start growling. They're going to be upset about all of the pressure that's been put on them when doing socializing. So short and fun. I cannot stress that enough. And by not taking your dog out, you're doing just as much damage. So I know we have an issue of parvo and distemper, and we're worried about all those things, but there's ways that you can do it safely. We do all 4 off the floor. You can carry them. You can put them in a wagon. You can put them in a cart. You can put them in a stroller. Just make sure if you're carrying them on you in a pack that you're not constantly petting them and reassuring fear. So if they're unsure, we just want to make sure that we're not feeding into that. But I would much rather you carry them in a backpack than not take them out. So you just have to figure out safe ways to do it and safe places to take them. The issue with parvo and distemper is, what are the chances a puppy has been here, and how highly populated with dogs? Dogs that don't have parvo or distemper can still track it in or whatever. So no dog parks, no pet stores, no places where it's highly populated with puppies and or dogs. So keeping away from that. I want them socialized with good neutral dogs, but that's when you have to network and reach out to family and friends where they have a nice, stable, neutral dog that is fully vaccinated and has not been, 72 hours is the rule, not been to a groomer, pet store, PetSmart, dog park within 72 hours. You can take your puppy over and play. Short and fun, though, please. Puppies do a really good job at hiding fatigue and stress, and we think, they're having fun. Remember, a puppy that yawns is not tired. That's a puppy that is stressed. A puppy that avoids eye contact and starts to look away from people is a puppy telling you, I am done. This is too much, please. And I think this is really important in building that trust with your puppy, is that you learn to read their signals of stress. All dogs give stress signals. Dogs just don't bite out of nowhere. Dogs just don't start growling out of nowhere. They've all given you stress signals. So you need to learn, what are the stress signals from this dog. It can be as simple as you'll start to see they start turning away from people. It could be a yawn. It could be lip smacking. It could be pinned ears. Avoidance, again, looking away is a really common one. You've got to know what that is, and when your dog starts showing you stress signals, the one of the best ways to really instill respect and trust is that you remove them from, like, okay, we're done, thank you, puppy's done, have a good day, and go. Especially if you're doing therapy work, even your service dog out in public, when they start letting you know, I've had enough, I'm done. Like, we need to honor and respect that, and not keep pushing. We keep pushing, we're going to ruin our dog. So, all right, so not exposing and socializing at all or incorrectly. Short and fun, positive, and empowering. Right? We're guiding their emotional responses. Now, if something negative happens, most dogs create an unrealistic fear because of one event, and it was handled improperly and then never fixed. So we either weren't there. Let's say it was a thunderstorm, right? So why are dogs, like dogs that live out in nature, freaking afraid of thunderstorms? It either was handled incorrectly, you coddled, you held. The first time the thunder boomed, the dog was like, holy heck, oh no, you're fine, come here, you're fine, it's all right, you're fine. You're literally telling them, yes, fear this, yes, this is scary, yes, you cannot believe in your own abilities. This is what you are doing when you do that. Instead, you should have like, hey, you're good, let's go. Put them on a leash, walk them, even if it's in the house. Start doing some training with them, just to distract them. Whatever you need to do. I think movement forward is really, really powerful. So any kind of exercise through fear is a fantastic way. I mean, that's one of the ways that I tend to rely on when I see fear. It's like, hey, let's go get your toy, let's get your ball, and play fetch while there's thunder and lightning. Now you're not going to have a dog that's fearful. It's the way in which we respond to that first initial fear that can ruin our dog. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And we're buying thunder shirts and medication. These are dogs. They should not fear nature's rain and thunder and lightning. I mean, it's really, really sad when you think about it. So when that first time that puppy shows fear, it is absolutely up to you to help guide their emotional response and make them face their fear. They cannot live in that state of fear for very long, and so it's important to help them work through it. Not coddling, not petting, not touching, not baby talking. Give them something else to focus on. Show them that they are worthy. Show them that they can believe in their own abilities, and this is far more important. One of the most important things you can do with your dog. So many people fear dogs have been abused, and honestly, a lot of them have not been that are coming out of shelters. It's just that they've had that one negative experience and it was never handled or was mismanaged, and they didn't have a fair, consistent leader to show them it's fine, you're going to be okay, you don't have to fear this. And it just builds into one fear after another, and then they start having a lot of irrational fears, and then they become very, very unhealthy and scared of dogs. And so empowering them is one of the most important things you can do for your puppy. Okay, goodness sakes. Number 4, giving affection when puppy is fearful. Yes, for sure. Let me go through some of these. Yeah, do not touch them. Do not coddle them. Do not rescue them when they have that startle response, when they encounter something that they're fearful of. When we raise our puppies, we raise them with the word yes. That's our empowerment word. Yes, you can approach. Yes, you are brave. Yes, you are okay. So let's say we put them into new curriculum and it's a tunnel, or even when we're doing their evaluation, we do stack some stress, a sight sensitivity test, and a sound sensitivity. So we do make a loud noise with the popper. And if they startle, like, yes, no, yes, come here. We make them approach. We make them smell it and look at it and show them, hey, it's not going to eat you. It's fine. And when you continue to do that up for 16 weeks with the puppy, You're there to guide emotional responses. You're there to empower them. You're there to make sure they believe in their own abilities. This translates to lifelong skills that they will have for the rest of their life. A simple yes. And then it even comes down to, if they're unsure about something, guess where they look? They look to you. They're like, are we good here? Yes, we're good here. Okay, fine. And keep moving forward. Like it's an incredibly powerful bond too between you and your dog when you have this just innate trust and respect. And when they know too, when they've had enough and they give you their stress signals, that you do, like, okay, we're done. We're going to leave. You know, we've had enough of the park. We've had enough of the kids petting and hugging. We've had enough of whatever. And then even furthermore, simple things like, I know my Holly, who is trained for therapy and crisis response, she has an ill aversion, like many of us do, to cigarette smoke. And so as soon as someone would approach her, whether it was a child or an adult that smelled like cigarette smoke, I knew immediately. She would look at me like, Mom, I'm not comfortable with this. This makes me uncomfortable. And it was my job then to be like, I'm sorry, Holly needs a break, and that's my job. I need to honor and respect her, not force her into things that she's not comfortable with. It's that fine line of, you can't get out of work, but also making sure that it's something that simple and that small made a big difference to her. And she knew that when I needed her, and when she does need me, that I will be there to make sure that I manage her therapy dog work correctly. So, hi, honey, I love you. Have a good day at work. Okay. Letting the puppy bite and think that it's cute. Yes, I can't stress this. Same thing with jumping, right, Brittany? Like, it's so cute when they're little, or we just, and we're rewarding it. We don't even realize that they jump and they're all excited to see us, and that makes us feel good. And we pet them. We pet them when they're jumping on us and when they're in a crazy state of mind. So we're actually rewarding the jumping in the crazy state of mind. And then we wonder why we have a year-old dog that's jumping and crazy every time we come home, because you've actually trained your dog to do that. Remember, you have 3 seconds. So jumping, and I pet and reward, you're just telling them that's exactly what you want them to do. So you can either, depending on your level of correction, you can always ignore a dog. For assertive, confident dogs, so we go back to temperament testing. So if you know you have a confident, assertive puppy, sometimes ignoring doesn't mean anything to them, right? Your more sensitive, submissive puppies, ignoring will. So depending on, and this is another reason why temperament testing is so important, because if you're a soft personality, putting you with an assertive, strong-willed puppy may not be the best, because they're just going to bowl over you. Like, let's just be real. Let's have a real talk with what kind of person you are. What are your boundaries like? Do you use the word no and mean it? If not, then placing a puppy that's more tender-hearted, submissive, not so strong-willed and assertive is much easier to manage overall for you, because your variable of correction, you don't feel as comfortable to really stand up for yourself and make sure things are very clear. Your assertive, strong-willed puppies they need a higher level of, a higher variable of correction to mean something to them. Like, you have to go above their intensity. Otherwise, the consequence doesn't mean anything, right? Just like with kids. You tell them to clean your room, go clean your room, go clean your room, and you never check, they're going to stop cleaning their room, right? But if you go in after every time you tell them to clean their room, and then there's a consequence, and for each kid, it could be different, right? So Jenna, her consequence is, if she doesn't get her stuff done, she can't ride the next day. She can't ride her horses the next day. And if it's a lesson, then I have to call off her lesson, right? I still pay for them. So, that for her, that's her consequence. For the boys, it's their screens, it's their video games. You don't do what I told you to do. This is your consequence. So puppies is the same way. Some puppies, the consequence could just be a simple verbal, or no, and a stare, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And others, you're going to have to rise above their variable of correction. Some people have had to resort to electronic collars, prong collars. There are training tools that do give them a correction that makes sense to them, and if it's uncomfortable enough, they will stop that behavior. But remember what I said in the beginning. If they're already barking or they're already doing it, even doing a correction is too late. That's a fail on you. So you just have to be, okay, I'm going to do better. Like, we're having an issue with them jumping on the couch. I'm really going to focus on this, and I'm going to catch them. No! Right when they look at the couch, right when they look at the couch to go jump on the couch, I'm going to correct before. It will change everything. It will change your relationship with your dog so, so much. I cannot stress that enough. All right, number 4. Are we on number 4? Oh, no, we did this one, right? No, we didn't? Yes, 3-second rule. Oh, that's number 2. Yeah, we did that one. Okay, hold on. Where are we at? Not exposing and socializing. We did that one. Okay, I think we're here. No, I have it saved wrong. Oh my gosh, I have, I don't think I have number 4 on a slide. Let me see. Number 2, I think I saved 2 of the 2s. I did. All right, so number 4 is not going to be on a little slide. We'll just go over it. Too much freedom. Nothing in life is for free. So that is number 4. Too much freedom. Nothing in life is for free. Earn, contain, and train. We bring a puppy home and we put him down and we're like, here is our house. And you give them every room. You give them the entire house and they have no idea what to do with all that. And then you're upset because it's taking forever to potty train and they're chewing on things. Please, please, I cannot stress enough to use baby gates or fencing to the back door though. Don't just randomly fence them off somewhere. The whole goal is to potty train, contain. Not only potty training, but we're containing so we don't have inappropriate behaviors. We can't chase the cat, right? We can't chase the kids. We can't chew on the couch. We can't poop in the laundry room because we start in a small space. I really, really, really believe in kennel training and small space training and letting them earn more and more space in the house. Huge. Like, why try to fix stuff? Why just do it right the first time and you don't have to go back and try to fix everything. Like, let's not make it harder on yourself. So if you're going to buy a puppy, buy and invest in some kind of proper, safe containment for them so they don't have access to the whole house. They don't have access to the 10-year-old little Yorkie. They don't have access to the cat. And they have to learn some self-control through rules, boundaries, and limitations. So containment, training, they should have to earn everything, including their food. Please just don't give them everything. They are dogs. And by treating them so much like they're human and dressing them up and giving them everything, and there's a million toys on the floor, yet they don't want to play with them. How about this? How about pick up all the toys, put them in a basket. They get 2 toys a day, 1 hard, 1 soft. You give them to them, and you take them away at night, and you put them back in the bucket, and the next day they get 2 toys, 1 hard, 1 soft. You give them to them. They know where it comes from, right? And you take them away at the end of the day, and the next day, guess what? They get 2 different toys, 1 hard, 1 soft. Rotate through your toys, make them earn everything, even if it's as simple as a watch me, I want eye contact. Yes, name it, reward it. Even to give them their 2 toys every day. Hey, I'm up here. Look at me. Yes, here you go. Here's your hard toy and your soft toy. Thank you. Like, having that kind of relationship with them so they understand everything comes for you will set your pack up for success. This is how dogs work. They're not human. And even children, let's be real. You overspoil and have no rules and give them everything they want. They're not happy children either. They never learn self-control, focus. They never learn about hard work and dedication. They never learn about motivation. They never really believe in themselves. They've never had to work to get anything, so they never have that internal empowerment. It's the same thing for puppies. So even as simple as getting their 2 toys a day, it's not over toy them. They don't want any of them. For food, yeah, let's ask for some self-control, shall we? Just stand there and hold the bowl. What am I waiting for? For them to sit. They're gonna keep working. They may bark at me. My assertive, confident puppies are gonna bark. It's gonna make them mad. Like, what the hell? Give me my food. Bark, bark, bark. Boss, boss, boss. Oh, back when a dog barks at me. No, I gotta work for you. You're confused. So let's keep working this out. Keep trying to figure it out. I just stand there and hold their bowl. As soon as they sit, I say yes, and I give them their food. Now, the very first time, they're probably already back up off the sit by the time I can get the food on the ground, but they knew exactly what they were rewarded for because it was immediate. The next time you feed, stand there. I promise you, if you got a smart puppy, it will take less time than the first time. They're going to bark and spin and be fret like, why aren't you giving me my food, stupid human? Hand me my food. They have to realize, dang it, when I sit, I get my food. Within 3 days, you will have a puppy that automatically just sits when you get their food bowl. And then you're going to start working on longer, right? Sitting, 1, 2, 3, yes, sit, yes. And then they're focused and they're staring like, okay, I'm sitting. And you're going to hold it longer and longer and longer. What are you teaching? Stay. Teaching self-control and focus. Or sitting longer, nice long sit. Within 2 weeks of having your puppy. There's no excuses on naughty, barking, biting, jumping. Puppies demand self-control, trained through expectation. Be really, really cognizant. Am I actually rewarding the crazy? Is their barking making me go faster? And I go, okay, here, I'm feeding you. You smart little thing. You wanted to eat, didn't you? You were telling Mama you wanted to eat. No, let's not. That's not cute. And that's going to have nothing but problems in the future. So let's not think that that's cute. In fact, I think it's far cuter when they're sitting quietly and patiently waiting for their food, like a well-balanced dog would, instead of barking and spinning and acting out of control crazy. Tom, consistency and pattern are two tools I found to be to be a key in training puppies. Yeah, consistency and pattern. And then just be careful. This is a good point. I'm so glad you brought this up. If you train the same line each time, so I always say, let's say, and you do this, so watch this. Sit, down, stay, come. Sit, down, stay, come, right? We do the same line every time. Well, now we're training it all as one. So then you'll start to notice the dog, as soon as they sit, they go down and they stay. And so mix it up a little bit with them. Do down, sit, do puppy push-ups, or stay and then sit. Okay, come, or whatever. Like, you've got to mix it up as well, so you're not even doing the same line of commands, because they'll outsmart that as well. And then, of course, we always talk about distance, duration, distraction, the 3Ds in dog training. So think about the distance between in which you're able to move away from your dog. And then super advanced as, can you be out of sight when they're in a stay? Tom, start doing that with Aspen and let me know. Put her in a stay and see if you can go out of sight. Just be really, really ready the minute she bumps up that you're right back correcting her. And the important thing is then, even if they army crawl, that's not a stay. Take them right back to where you put them in a stay. Put them back down, stay, and do it again. All right? Don't let them army crawl and move out of a stay and allow it, because that just will snowball into them not really believing that they have to stay right there. And they do, ultimately, depending on specifically what you're training them to do. But okay, I'm trying to catch up on that. I don't work for you. I know, Lynn's laughing at me. What about lots of barking during playtime with other dogs? Any way to correct this other than removing the puppy from the situation? So is it a bystander barking? Bark, 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 bark. That's like a toy poodle thing, first of all. Like, they don't like anything out of control, and they have to be part of everything. Otherwise, like our little toy poodle Augie, like, he'll bark, bark, bark if the kids are even wrestling. So I just scold that right away. As soon as he does, I'll back him away from it using my space. Like, I never have to touch him. I just move into him and I'm like, no. And then as soon as I step away, he'll try it again, right? And so I'm like, no, and stand and freeze. So one of the biggest mistakes we make is, after we correct a dog, we walk away. Dogs don't work like that. You're not communicating correctly. Correct. Now stand and freeze until they relent. I'm going to say it one more time because this is huge. Once you correct a dog and tell them to stop it or no, you need to stand and freeze until they relent. It could be they look away, they take a deep breath, or they just turn away and leave. They're like, okay, fine, Mom. You're serious. I got it. Fine. Doesn't mean they're going to not turn around and try it again, because they're going to challenge you. Like, how consistent is Mom? Let's see. And this is really, really important. They could do it 5 times in a row initially, but I will tell you, if every single time You put an end to it, and you may have to rise in your intensity a little bit each time. If they challenge right away, well, crap, that tells me wasn't uncomfortable enough, so I'll have to rise in my intensity. It gets to the point where no just becomes, you've established such a foundation with your dog that when they get older, a simple no just means stop, regardless of where you are or what you're doing. And that is a beautiful, powerful thing. A simple look, no, or or whatever you do, that will now spill over because you put in all this work initially, for the first year especially, that they will stop whatever it is. It just applies now, whatever. The same thing with training dogs as well. If you do it enough initially, then it can be a different situation, it could be a different place, it could be a different behavior, and no means no. No means stop. That's it, stop. And if you don't stop, what have I taught my dogs? There is an uncomfortable consequence. They know because they've challenged me enough prior and I have been consistent that they know, crap, mom means no. And she means it. So anyway, the barking, like I won't correct two dogs playing and barking. That's their dog time. That's a dog thing. But if there's one barking with excitement, it just depends. The other thing I do is I don't allow the roughhousing in my house. I've always been outside to play. So I know when they start to get all antsy and wiggly, they run to the door. So it takes time to establish that, but we don't roughhouse and play in the house. And Hannah especially, she's very good about speaking her mind. If I forget to feed her, she brings me her bowl. And if she hasn't gone out to stretch her legs and play, she comes and does this low, like, at me, low growlish bark, and I'm like, do you want to go outside? And she wiggles her whole butt. I'm like, all right. So she comes and tells me, because she knows she can't do that in the house, and it's exercise time, and I sat at the computer too long or whatever. So she tells me. All right. Is it reasonable to try to get an entire litter to be calm and quiet when you give them their morning wet meal? They have dry food all the time, but get dry canned and you vet the Yeah, so Jennifer, I actually have a video. I used to do the same thing. I just hold the pans until I had 2 litters at the same time, over 20 puppies. I have it on YouTube. I can find it. And I just stand there with the pans and they wait, and I wait until they all sat. For the most part, it's really hard because you have some that are like sitting we're up to 4 or 5 seconds, and others that are not. So like I go for vast majority, because I have to reward. So that's the tough thing about an entire litter, because you have them at different levels, and some that are just squirrely and difficult, and others that are sitting and sitting and sitting, but they're still working. And as long as they don't all start popping up, then you waited too long. I will tell you though, I have found it far more powerful for us to imprint the puppy recall for clients, than the feeding. Because your calm feeding can be erased in 2 seconds when they go home. But that imprinted puppy emergency recall, as long as you explain to your clients, your new puppy owners, how important this is and how to do it. And we give a little handout in their packet. They can read what not to do when continuing to imprint this and what to do. It has literally saved people's dogs' lives. They've slipped out the front door. They've slipped out of the car. All they have to do is go, puppy, pup, 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 come on, puppy. And that has been so imprinted with 100% reward that they come right back. And so we actually do create some excitement with food, because every single time we feed them, from the first time they get mush, and it's really silly at first because they're like they're trying to figure out how to eat, and I'm there, puppy, pop, 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 yay, puppy, pop, 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 over and over while they're eating their mush. And we do it every single feeding because I want that really, really imprinted, because that will and has saved lives. And so then the clients, when they go home, they will continue with the imprinting. It's like a trained command. It's part of their, curriculum when they go home. And then doing the calm focused eating becomes separate. So I have found that is far more important than getting an entire litter to sit. I've done both. And so, I find it's, now Penny's watching with me. She heard your puppy recall and she instantly turned and came here. Yep. Not a girl, Penny and Zia. And Spud, that's a good boy, Spud. See, they know puppy, 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 and they come running. Linus, how old is Linus? And he's still like, oh, I remember that. But the clients have to follow up with that, even just twice a week. 100% the best treat ever. It's the only time they get treats for us initially. They get their kibble as their treats because they work for their food. But we do say with the puppy, puppy, puppy recall, like 2-3 times a week, that's when it's like a little piece of chicken, a little piece of steak. Just don't do it from the table, and vary where you are, what you're doing, and what the dog is doing when you do that imprinting. So sometimes it will be out in the yard, sometimes it will be in the house when they're playing. Like I will practice, I will work them up to when they have their favorite toy and they're sitting there. I will do the puppy, puppy, puppy recall. I want them to leave the toy, come to me, get something better, and then they can go back to their toy. So there's I've got videos and stuff about that. We could talk about that alone just the whole entire time, but it has been incredibly powerful. So I personally, as a breeder, I don't get a whole litter to sit. I have found far greater reward in the puppy, puppy, puppy imprinting, and then teaching clients and talking to clients about calm, focused behaviors, whether you're putting a leash, whether you're feeding, any of the coming home, any of that kind of stuff. We want calm, focused behaviors anyway. All right, number 5. Treating them like a human by placing human emotions on them. This is incredibly detrimental for our dogs. We're putting a lot of emotional pressure on them and we're treating them like humans, and they are not. Guess what? They are far superior in many ways. They live in the moment. They don't live in the past. So simple things like, even if you rescued a dog out of a deplorable situation, I don't know why we've continued labeling and coddling and feeling sorry for the dog 5 years later. They have no clue. All they know is you're an unstable leader. Truly. Like, why are you feeling bad all the time? Like, why you have all these angst? Every time you come near me, you feel bad. That is what you are telling them. Do you see that that's what you're doing with the dog? If there was a negative experience yesterday, even an accident, and you didn't empower them and help them through, and you just coddle and feel bad for them, they're literally wondering why every time you're around them that you are feeling that way. It is incredibly important that we be as balanced as possible. While we do rely on our canine companions for emotional support a lot, absolutely we do, but then it's important to realize that, though, and make sure that we're not constantly putting that pressure on them, that we are allowing them to be balanced, fulfilled dogs, number 1. Then number 2, emotional support. Dogs' needs in order are rules, boundaries, and limitations, number 1. We always give love and affection and coddle, right? The first thing and the most that you do with your dog is love and affection and coddling. Really what they need is rules, boundaries, and limitations, number 1. Then mental and physical exercise. Are you providing for these needs in this order? Then number 3 is love and affection. And if at all possible, only love and affection when they're in a calm state of mind. Just flipping something like that can change the entire balance between you and your dog. They will look at you differently. They will respect you in a completely different way. When you become a balanced, fair, consistent leader and you don't put up with crap, but you're also very empowering and they feel safe with you, you will have a very different dog. So stop labeling them, even if they had a bad past, even if they came from a bad breeder, even if whatever has happened to them in the past. They're not living in the past. You are. And you are causing more harm than good. So be an empowering leader, take them out of that situation, and the rest is moving forward. No excuses, no coddling, no living in that unhealthy, I feel so bad, you poor thing, and constantly coddling them. It's time to empower. It's time to step it up and just provide a healthy home for them. Number 1, rules, boundaries, and limitations. That's what they should always get first and foremost. 2, mental and physical exercise. 3, love and affection, in that order. Honor their needs, innate desires, and the integrity of what they have been bred for. Do not complain that your border collie's hurting your children. That's what they were bred for. Do not complain that your husky's always getting out and running away. That's what they were bred for. So choose your breed carefully and honor the integrity, not because they're cute, not because they produce a certain color, not because of this, not because of that. Choose the integrity of the breed and respect. Like, I have mad respect for the breeders that have worked so hard to fine tune the beloved traits of our working dogs, of all of our dogs. Do you realize there's been very specific decisions made through hundreds of years to get that body type, to get the hair, to get that temperament, to get that personality? Then there's also been a lot of bad breeders that have gotten involved and have done some damage to our beloved breeds. Cancer in our retriever lines, hip dysplasia in our retriever lines, guarding and gulping in our retriever lines. That is not what they were bred for. So we've had breeders take us off the path, and we've got breeders trying to get us back on the path for the integrity of these lines. So please, first and foremost, respect and honor what they were bred for. If you have a dog at home right now and you know the majority of their breed and you don't know what they were initially bred for, that's a problem. Do some research. Figure out, what do I need to do to fulfill my rules, boundaries, limitations, mental and physical exercise? What do I need to add? I would never have a husky because I am too damn lazy. I could never give them the amount of travel they need to truly satiate that desire to. They were literally bred to be harnessed and pull sleds forever and ever in the snow and run and run and run and run. And we wonder why they all run away and why they just need to be out running and running. If you can't meet those needs, don't buy that breed. All right. Too much handling and improper handling. They're not babies. I know it's cute to dress them up sometimes, but seriously, the thing I hear, not just with me, but I've got over 3,000 breeders in my mentorship group, and I hear this a lot. And even with my own clients, I will get this complaint: the puppy's starting to growl at their children or them. And what it comes down to is overhandling and improper handling. We're allowing kids to pack them around constantly. There's no safe space. There's no safe time. That has to be implemented. They do and should have free will, right? And so when you're just constantly picking them up and kids are trying to share, and especially when there's more than one child in a busy home with lots of kids, and I get it, everybody's so excited to have the puppy. I hear you, I see you, but you have to honor the puppy. They need to have safe place and safe time, and don't wake a sleeping puppy. Too often they're not getting enough sleep. That's going to make anybody crabby. And then you wonder, and it gets to the point where the puppy starts biting. Shame on you. You have not honored the puppy. You have not met their needs in order. You're doing all love and affection, and some of it's not even appropriate. They only can take so much. We do the best we can to make sure that puppies are placed with young children, that they're highly compliant, they're easygoing puppies. But even those puppies have their limit of what is too much. So please don't feel like you have to entertain your puppy all the time, pack them around all the time. There should be lots of time that they're able to just be a dog. And remember, again, their needs in order. Rules, boundaries, limitations. They're earning everything in life. They understand when they step out of if they do something they shouldn't do, they understand there will be a consequence. And it's the same with everybody, whether it's mom or dad. I get corrected and I'm not allowed to be on the couch. Nobody lets me be on the couch, right? See how much more fair that is? Number 2, mental and physical stimulation. And if you're training and you're asking for even just eye contact to give them their 2 toys of the day, you're asking for calm, focused eating, that's mental stimulation, right? All types of training, asking them to follow you, that should be rewarded. Something that simple. You should be rewarding your puppy for following you, for looking at you, for looking up to you, and watching for being able to guide any other emotional responses. And then, of course, love and affection. And I do that after they've worked for me, after, and every time you do correct a puppy, it's just like children. For every correction, I make sure there's 5 to 10 praises. The other thing I do with the puppy too is we overcorrect because we've given him too much space, right? So no, 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 no the shoes, no the couch, no potting on the floor, no don't chase the cat, no don't chase. All they hear is no, 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 no. My goal when I'm raising a puppy, and yours should be too, is prevention. So let's contain their space. Let's kennel train. Let's contain their space. So I'm not saying no all the time. The only things I should have to correct is mouthing. Really, truly, mouthing. That's my goal. The only time I'm correcting a puppy is mouthing, and I'm praising the heck out of good eye contact, focus, self-control, following me, just doing things that I'm asking them to do, and being a productive puppy. So name and reward immediately. You only have 3 seconds. You go back to the 3-second rule. And then love and affection. And I love giving them massages when they're getting close to being sleepy. That's when we'll hold. That's when I allow any small children. Jenna, like when Jenna was a toddler, my puppy and Jenna lived separately. I never set the puppy up to fail. I want to set the puppy up for success. So there was containment. And if Jenna was down, the puppy was put away to the door so we can still potty train, and the door opens, they go out, we're still potty training, so I'm not going backward on anything, I'm only going forward. When Jenna was out for her nap, I could take the puppy out, we would train, we would bond, we would do exposure activities, we do brain games, then they go back to their nap and Jenna comes back out. Only when the puppy was really, really sleepy and tired, then maybe once a day they could be together and sit in her lap. That never made my puppy fearful of her. It only made my puppy respect her, and the puppy was never set up to fail by chasing and biting and not understanding the appropriate way to interact with a child. So I cannot stress contain and train enough. So, and too much handling and improper handling. We truly are handling too much. They are dogs, and they're meant to be on the ground, and we're packing them around too much. All right, questions. Here we go. How do you teach the watch me? Usually she's sitting and waiting, but watching the food bowl or her hand if we have a treat. Does that count as watch me? It does not. This is a good point. So her focus is on the food, which is normal. She knows where that comes from. So start bringing the food here, and then as soon as she sees the eyes, watch me, and she'll start to learn that she's got to look here. That takes a little bit of time though for the super food motivated, nose driven dogs. One of the reasons why she was selected to be a diabetic alert dog. So you're just gonna watch me and bring it up here and start naming it. Watch me. Again, when she does it though, watch me. Yes, reward. Watch me. Yes, reward. You're going to be doing this for a little while, Kiana. Right up to the eyes, and then she'll learn real quick that I look at you to get my food. I look at you to get my treat, not the food, not the treat. Try that. I know, it's a silly one. You feel like, well, bringing it up right there. So have them follow the treat right here. Yes, watch me. We made the mistake of so much time contact with our then 3-year-old, had to back it way off in the beginning. Yeah, and I know, because that we want the puppy for our children. We want our children to grow up with the dog, right? Like that's our goal. That's what we envision of. That's what we want for our kids, to teach them to be more compassionate and learn so many valuable lessons from the love of a dog. But really, as a puppy, there should be not a whole lot of contact at all. Very, very little. And it should all be absolutely supervised. And it should be when the puppy's in a calm state of mind. Because, see, children cannot correct a puppy. Everything about a child screams littermate to a puppy. The way they talk, the way they move, they scream, they run. And all of that to a puppy just means play with me more, chase me more, bite me more. And if you've never seen littermates play with each other, it's not nice in our world. Like, that is not the way we want a puppy to play with our children. But in the dog world, that's exactly how they play with each other. They bite, they chase, they wrestle, they mouth, but they have all this fur on them too that protects them, and we don't, and so they have to learn. But I would much rather set the puppy up for success and rather trying to go back and fix everything. Now, the older the children become, the more active role they can play in raising a puppy. But for me, little children, it's like maybe twice a day when the puppy's right, not super tired, but getting close to being really, really sleepy, and they can just sit and massage and rub. So the only time the dog starts to associate with a toddler is what? Calm, loving touch. That's it. We don't play, we don't chase, we don't mouth yet, because I want to get that foundation laid. And I want to get that relationship with the puppy so that if that puppy does, which they will at some point, chase or mouth the diaper, the butt, the leg, the dress, when I do, no, they understand that already. I can't expect that from a puppy I just brought home. That takes time for that establishment that they take me seriously before I'm going to give them more time with a child or the cat or whatever. I love when cats correct them because that's the best thing. People are always like, well, how do I, how will I interact with the cat and the puppy? And I'm like, well, hopefully the cat will do the job for you. All it takes is for them to turn around and swat them and tell them, knock it off. I don't play like that. That's ideal. But if they don't, then you have to. You have to be the one to let them know, knock it off. You cannot chase the cat. Fencing. We'll go back to fencing and containment, right? You can't be chasing the cat all around. And they also learn then that chasing the cat's not a game. A rescue came to our home from a very abusive situation, when she had consistency in her home and boundaries. She was a completely different puppy. Yes, Karen, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you just empowering her, though, and not making her live as a labeled, abused dog. Nobody wants that. Not humans, not dogs. She's no longer a rescue. She's a beloved dog, and she has no reason to be fearful. And like I said, they're far more emotionally balanced than we are because they don't live in the past. They really, really don't. So super, super powerful. All right. Any last minute questions? Yes, our kitten and Casper were introduced fully in 10 days, and they love and play so well for months. Excellent. Yeah, we just set them up for success, right? If we're not always having to fix stuff or letting things get out of control, or things are happening and, we get busy and we're back in the laundry room and then kids are screaming and the puppy's biting and there's poop on the floor and we're like, crap, like this is a bad puppy. No, it's a bad setup. You've set your puppy up to fail. And so containment and structure is incredibly important. All right, you guys, that is the 5 biggest mistakes you can make when raising a puppy. Number 1, I'm just going to go through them all real quick. Number 1, not choosing a puppy that hasn't been temperament tested, so you don't know if you can meet their needs or if it's a good fit. Number 2, wishy-washy rules, boundaries, and limitations. Make sure you meet their needs in order. Rules, boundaries, limitations. Number 1, mental and physical exercise. Number 2, and number 3, love and affection. Don't forget 3-second rule: to praise, name, reward, and or correct. If it's not done immediately, you cannot do either. Number 3, not exposing or socializing correctly. So you're either not doing it or you're doing it too much. I need everybody to get into the middle. Short, fun, positive. Short. 5-10 minutes. Go explore something, hear something, see something. You want to leave before they give you any stress signals. Want to make it fun and back home. Number 4, too much freedom. Nothing in life is for free. We want to earn, contain, and train. Number 5, treating them like a human. We want to empower our puppies. We want them to believe in their own abilities. We absolutely do not want to coddle fear. We want to face fear and show them there's nothing to be afraid of. That is a life lesson. It will translate to everything else in life. And if you are a weak, inconsistent leader and you coddle fear, they're never going to trust you in any other situation. I cannot stress that enough, because you didn't protect them from the thunder, right? You didn't show them that it was okay. Instead, you told them and showed them that they should fear it. So now you are a fearful leader. You're afraid of things, so they're going to have to be afraid of things as well. Do you see how that translates? So be empowering. Show them they're nothing to fear. They're fine. You're fine. If you've bought a puppy from us, we use the yes command. If you're a breeder watching, please implement that as well. Our puppies go home knowing 2 English words: the puppy, puppy, puppy recall, and yes. Yes meaning yes, you can trust me. Yes, you can approach. Yes, you are okay. Yes, yes, yes. I'm Jeanette with 40 Kennels. We're not only healing hearts and changing lives with the power of a dog, but we are changing breeding from bad to badass, and we are taking a lot of breeders with us because our dogs deserve more. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.